When we imagine the samurai, the image is never complete without their armor. Gleaming helmets, layered plates, and flowing cords. Samurai armor was as much a symbol as it was protection. It combined steel and silk, strength and beauty, tradition and innovation. To understand the samurai, we must also understand their armor, for it was more than equipment. It was an extension of their spirit. The earliest samurai armor developed during the Heian period, when mounted archery dominated the battlefield. The armor of this age, known as ō-yoroi, was designed for horseback warriors. Heavy and box-like, it covered the body with large lacquered plates of iron and leather, laced together with silk cords. The armor gleamed with colors and patterns, often chosen to reflect the clan of the wearer. It was strong enough to stop arrows, yet flexible enough for archery. For the samurai of this age, the ō-yoroi was both shield and canvas, a display of artistry as well as protection. The ō-yoroi included massive shoulder guards, or sode, which flared outward like wings. A cuirass protected the torso, while a skirt of plates covered the hips. The helmet, or kabuto, rose high with decorative crests, often featuring horns, antlers, or family emblems. The face was guarded by masks, sometimes fierce, sometimes serene. Together, this armor created a warrior who appeared larger than life, a figure of power and fear. But the ō-yoroi had its limitations. It was heavy, cumbersome, and suited only for mounted warriors. As warfare changed, armor adapted. By the Kamakura and Muromachi periods, battles increasingly involved infantry and close combat. A lighter style of armor, the dō-maru, became popular. Worn by both mounted and foot soldiers, the dō-maru wrapped around the body more closely, offering mobility without sacrificing too much protection. Its construction still relied on iron and lacquered leather plates tied with silk, but its form was more practical. This evolution reflected the changing role of the samurai. No longer only archers on horseback, they became swordsmen and spearmen in close ranks. Their armor needed to move with them, to bend as they charged and clashed. The dō-maru offered this balance, and for centuries, it defined the look of the samurai warrior. By the Sengoku period, when Japan was torn apart by civil war, armor design reached its peak of innovation. This was the age of mass armies, firearms, and sieges. Armor had to be lighter, stronger, and easier to produce. The result was tōsei-gusoku, the modern armor of the samurai. Made from iron plates joined with hinges and rivets, it allowed flexibility while providing protection against both arrows and bullets. The tōsei-gusoku included features like articulated arm guards, reinforced helmets, and even bulletproof cuirasses. The introduction of firearms changed everything. After Portuguese traders brought matchlock guns to Japan in the 16th century, samurai armor had to evolve quickly. Some suits were tested against gunfire, their plates dented but not pierced. Daimyo competed to equip their men with the best protection, commissioning armorers to experiment with new designs. The battlefield of the Sengoku period was a laboratory of war, and armor was at the heart of it. Yet even as armor became more practical, it remained a work of art. Samurai valued aesthetics as much as function. Lacquer coatings gave the iron a glossy shine and protected it from rust. Silk cords laced the plates in elaborate patterns, each color combination representing different clans or symbolic meanings. Helmets bore extravagant crests, dragons, suns, crescent moons that made commanders stand out in battle and inspired their men. A samurai's armor was his identity, visible from afar, unmistakable in the chaos of war. Armor was also deeply spiritual. Each piece carried meaning. The helmet symbolized the mind, the cuirass the heart, the greaves the strength of the legs. To don armor was to prepare not just the body but the spirit for battle. Rituals often accompanied the process, prayers said as the cords were tied, charms tucked inside for protection. The armor was more than steel and silk. It was the body of the warrior's soul. The variety of samurai armor was astonishing. Some suits were designed for intimidation, painted black and decorated with fierce faces. Others were flamboyant, covered in gold leaf or bright colors to dazzle opponents and assert dominance. There were even armors designed to resemble foreign styles, inspired by European contact. Every suit told a story of its wearer, his clan, and his place in the world. The kabuto, or helmet, was perhaps the most iconic part of the samurai's armor. Made of riveted iron plates, often with flared neck guards, it was both practical and symbolic. The crests, or mandate, were as diverse as the samurai themselves. Horns, antlers, dragons, and suns all adorned these helmets. Some were meant to invoke fear, others to convey spiritual protection. Masks attached to the helmet gave the samurai a terrifying face, further enhancing his presence on the battlefield. By the end of the 16th century, samurai armor had reached its zenith. It balanced protection, mobility, and symbolism in ways few other cultures ever achieved. To see a samurai army assembled in full armor was to witness a spectacle of power, color, and artistry. It was both war machine and cultural pageant, a reflection of Japan itself. As the Tokugawa period ushered in peace across Japan, the samurai's role began to change. With fewer wars to fight, armor shifted from being a tool of survival to a symbol of class. Samurai continued to wear armor in ceremonies, parades, and official processions, but its purpose was now more symbolic than practical. Still, the craftsmanship remained exquisite, and some of the most beautiful suits of armor ever made date to this era of peace. Armor in the Tokugawa period often featured bold colors, intricate lacing patterns, and luxurious materials. Gold leaf, lacquer, and even rare imported fabrics decorated the suits. Instead of focusing on battlefield efficiency, artisans poured their skill into creating works of art that displayed a lord's wealth and authority. The armor became a canvas for status, embodying not only the samurai spirit, but also the power of the Tokugawa state. Despite this ceremonial role, the armor still carried the memory of war. Each piece retained its symbolism. The helmet still stood for the mind, the cuirass for the heart, the greaves for strength. Even if never tested in battle, the armor reminded its wearer of his duty, to live and die as a warrior, loyal to his lord and to bushido. Samurai also preserved their armor as heirlooms, passing them down through generations. A suit of armor might be displayed in a family's home, not as equipment, but as a sacred relic. It carried the spirit of ancestors, linking the living to the dead. In this way, armor became a vessel of memory, a bridge between the past and the present. When the Meiji Restoration of the late 19th century abolished the samurai class, armor fell out of use entirely. Many suits were dismantled, sold, or destroyed as Japan rushed to modernize its military. Yet others were preserved in temples, museums, and private collections. These surviving examples allow us today to glimpse the artistry and spirit of the samurai age. Modern Japan remembers samurai armor not only as history, but as cultural identity. Festivals still feature displays of armor, martial artists study its form, and filmmakers draw inspiration from its dramatic shapes. The image of the samurai in gleaming armor has become iconic worldwide, a symbol of discipline, honor, and beauty in war. Samurai armor was never just about survival. It was a statement of who the samurai were: warriors, artists, and spiritual beings. It was steel and silk, protection and art, tradition and innovation. To wear it was to become more than human, to embody the way of the warrior. And though the samurai themselves are gone, their armor endures, reminding us of a world where every battle was fought not only with weapons, but with symbols of the soul.